What in the exorcist is this? Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And what's becoming almost a tradition right here on the channel, especially over the last couple of weeks, is we're going to have one wandering eye on a summer rebuild, ladies and gentlemen, as we were delivered yet another delicious Rangers rumour by the transfer guru himself, Mr. Fab. So strap yourselves in, because I think you're going to be very happy with today's Rangers rumour.
And Cifuentes is one of the smartest young players I've seen come into this league in a long, long time, and I will be shocked if it's in this league much longer. What a fantastic finish that was.
But whilst the anticipation is starting to get to the boil, if I can be a little bit cheeky just to remind you, if you do enjoy the content or do enjoy the channel, please consider hitting that like button, or if you want to wait to see whether or not this content is worth it, and a like for that is completely fine. We are closing in rapidly on 60k, so any help would be appreciated by either hitting that like button or hitting that subscribe button. But enough YouTube shenanigans then, shall we? Let's go ahead and discuss this Rangers rumour. And as always, we don't just speak about the rumour whether or not we believe it to be true. We like to kick the tyres right here on the actual channel and see if it should be so. We'll discuss the player profile, we'll get to the football and CV, we will discuss the competition for places, and then get to the actual rumour itself. And without any further ado, let's dive right in to the old player profile and check why there's so much excitement about this link. Jose Cifuentes. Now, I know what you're all thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Are we all equally nervous about my pronunciation of that? I am, people. So I think for the rest of today's video, we're just going to call him Jose, and I'm not being disrespectful to the man himself. I'm the guy that can't differentiate the word free from the number free, people, alright? So let's everybody take a camera and just stick with the name Jose. Now, Jose is a 24-year-old Ecuadorian internationalist who is right-footed and plays in the middle of the park. He stands at 5'9", which maybe on paper and maybe old school thinking doesn't jump out to you and say midfield destroyer or someone who's capable of controlling a midfield and not adding a physicality to a midfield. I think with the likes of the Cantwells and the Raskins and the impact they've had in the engine room will probably dispel that myth, people. And I mentioned him too right away because it's no surprise to me with the likes of a Jose being linked with Rangers when you've seen how successful both Raskin and Cantwell has been and what they've added to this team, not only with on the ball or anything like that, but their energy, work rate and their bite in the middle. And this guy's cut from the very, very same cloth, because that is what he brings to the game. He does get stuck in. He's known to sometimes stick in a bit too much, ladies and gentlemen, but he's a good player that gets about the place, that can add more energy. And over the last couple of years, that's something we've looked at and been very, very disappointed at, looking at that injury room with not enough legs actually being there. But he's not just a runner. He won't just bring you hard work. He won't just bring you effort, people. No, he's got some football and ability about him as well, and it's that side of the game what really excels and opens your eyes up to why he probably Michael Beale wants the likes of Jose at this football club, because his ability with the ball at his feet, people, is absolutely a joy to watch. Now, I'm not talking about long, direct skill moves or anything Tarat-esque or anything, but see, just the ability to drop a shoulder, flip it from left foot to right foot to left foot, beat a man and just get the pass off. This is what this man absolutely excels in. And you know how we like to do a wee bit of comparisons here or there on the old channel to try and help you paint the picture of what we could potentially be bringing in to the football club. Well, for me, this guy reminds me so much of a peak Glenn Kamara. Now, dinna panic, dinna shout at me in the comment section below. I know we've all turned a wee bit sour on old Glenn Kamara, but there was one time, people, we used to sing his name for our rafters and watch peak after peak after peak performance of him dazzling in the middle of the park and beating people for fun. And that's what that guy's got to his game, and that's why I bring that to you, because right away you can picture just how saucy Glenn used to be with the ball in terms of beating people and how he would spin people and get out of tight situations. That is what Jose's bread and butter is, and I can see him coming in and doing that exact role. However, for me, Jose's got a wee bit more to his game than that, because where we were frustrated at maybe a Kamara not being as attack-minded, not playing as quickly as we want to play, not being as forward-thinking as we all wanted at this football club, this lad, he can impact both sides of the actual park, because again, he's got the energy, the work rate and the physicality to get back and throw some slides in, which the boy does love to do. But you can see it all the time, and one of his biggest praises that he gets from everywhere, from both his international manager to the MLS, that was absolutely fell in love with the guys. When he gets the ball, his first instinct is to drive the ball forward, and that's no turn around and passing it back and playing it safe. If someone's in front of him, he'll beat him and try to move on. Again, I'm not saying he's a world-class centre mid that beats the man every time and it's always perfect, but his instincts are absolutely spot on. And for me, when you look at what he can bring to his game, you can really see how it can fit in the middle of the park. And you look at what Michael Beale's trying to add to this team, a midfield three of Raskin, Cantwell and this laddie is almost perfection in a way, because each of them would complement each other perfectly. So I think that there gives you a wee bit of an indication of what type of player he is. He's an all-impact type of midfielder that would go in there and disrupt defensively, but has then got the creative quality to actually put the ball forward, whether it's pinging a pass or trying to move it yourself, driving the ball forward. It's something we've been crying out for and hoping that this player or this player or this player would be able to do. This guy is comfortable sitting maybe a wee bit further back than a Raskin and a Cantwell, but again, he bombs forward when he needs to be, and I think that's the way it would actually work. You know what we've tried to do with Lundstrom sometimes, and I don't think it actually suits his game, just sitting on behind like the likes of Raskin or that, for instance, and just break up play then go forward. I think this would actually naturally suit this game a hell of a lot more, and for me that's why I think we're heavily linked, and apparently, according to Fab, talks are progressing very, very well. But enough talking around the play, let's get to the old numbers and stats, because I can talk about this and this, but people love stats these days. It's a stat generation. Well, let's talk about it. As always, we'll start off with the most recent season at the old MLS. He has played 14 games in all competitions, scoring 1 goal and grabbing 3 assists. Now, I know everyone, again, has just panicked and went, wait a minute, CJ, we linked with yet another injury-prone midfielder who's barely played 15 games in a season, who's sitting there with 14 games after an entire season. What are we doing? What is our scouting team doing? Well, I'll just put a pin on that just for a few seconds, people, because I remind you, he is playing in the MLS and they have a different start point, so their season is actually still going on right now. In fact, it's still very early on in their season. In fact, they played a game today. You know what I mean? LA played a game today. Now, he wasn't involved in that game, but for the majority of the season he has been involved, besides missing a game here or being substituted here or there. I think he's sort of in that limbo situation, if I'm being 100% honest with you, where they know he's wanting to move on. They know they're just waiting for it. Obviously, his contract's running out in December. They were expected to be moving him on last year, but they priced him out of a move, and that's what we'll speak about a bit later on. But now he's just kind of in that limbo, waiting for somebody to come and take him, and that's why I think he's not maybe starting every single game or playing to the 90 minutes like he was in previous seasons. And it's also quite interesting to looking at the fact he didn't play in today's game for LA, considering these talks are apparently over Rangers and LAFC have been progressing very well over the last couple of days. Well, that actually fits in with his schedule, because he played 5-6 days ago, people. Now the talks have started, he hasn't been involved, so it looks very, very interesting. Now, fun fact, people, yes, you're welcome for that one. Malik Tillman's brother, Timothy Tillman. People, what a name that is. It sounds like he should be in Home Improvement with that type of name. He actually plays in the exact same team as the LAFC, and I'll be honest with you, people, I actually saw this lad at the Rangers Motherwell game when me and my dad was at that game. I says, that guy is the double Malik Tillman. Jumped on the old phone, saw him, and I was like, oh, and they looked very impressed with the old crowd. So may I just float out there that maybe, just maybe, Agent Tillman has put in a saucy word. But that's just this season, people. Let's take an actual step back then, shall we? Of course, we mentioned the fact that he is an Ecuadorian internationalist, and he's played 15 games in all competitions for his country as well, including 2 in World Cup qualifiers. But moving and just focusing maybe on the actual football and CV club level, he has played a total of 134 games at the age of 24, where he has notched up 15 goals and 18 assists during that run, which is actually not too bad when you throw that together. As I mentioned earlier on in today's video, he's not just a glory type of player who likes to go forward and beat people and skillful on the ball. Remember when I said he gets stuck in and throws himself about? He's got 26 yellow cards to his name, and he's received 1 straight red card in his career pretty early on when he was actually playing in the Ecuadorian league. He's kind of matured on that aspect. He picks his battles now, but when he picks it and, when it narrows in on someone, he lets that player know he's in for a game. Now, you might have noticed we've mentioned the MLS a couple times, and I know some people's opinions are pretty split on the MLS, but that's where they spent the majority of his career. In fact, 109 of his 134 games that he's played has been at the top flight of American football, where again he has 32 goal contributions in those 109 games, which means he averages a goal or assist. What's that, every 3.5, just maybe slightly over that, if my quick maths is actually correct. Then he slaughter me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's just over, was it 3.6? Round about that marker. So that's a pretty damn impressive stat to actually have in terms of a midfielder, especially as he's sometimes a wee bit deeper in the actual midfield. That's showing his quality, that's showing his ability. But I know people's opinions are split on the MLS, but one thing you can say about that league, ladies and gentlemen, is I do think it's quite an underrated league. It's a physically demanding league. You need to be an athlete, if you will, to be able to get up and doing energy needs to go, because that league plays at 100 miles an hour. There's no team sitting with 10 men behind the ball with only one team attacking. No, they go at each other, ladies and gentlemen, so you've got to have a wee bit of physicality about you. And I know we've had the likes of James Sands, and some people were very split on Sam, some people really like Sands, but even Sands was just a sort of guy in the MLS, you know what I mean? He's not the type of player that gets spoken about the same way that Jose actually does, because he's not just a guy in the MLS. He was talked up as being one of the guys, if you get my drift. So I think there is a drastic level to that in the way he's been playing and performing at the MLS. It's no wonder he's been linked with the likes of Brighton. At one point they were expected to go. There was apparently a £15 million bid on the table, which the club priced him out last summer and didn't get him, and now the way it looks they're going to get pretty much pennies for it instead of the millions and millions they should have got last summer. And maybe, just maybe, ladies and gentlemen, with how badly we've been ran as a football club doing the similar thing, rejecting bids and then players leaving for buttons, maybe, just maybe this time we will actually be on the benefit side of that and be able to come in here and steal a player who was going to get a move last summer, but now the clubs have moved on. They've signed other people. Some of them's relegated and gone down to the Championship now. Maybe, just maybe, we'll benefit with some interesting decision making from a football club, as again his contract does end in December, meaning we could pinch this boy for next to none. But aye, that's kind of it regarding the numbers and the league and everything like that. Let's pull away from that now, because I think we've spoken enough about that. Let's talk about the competition for places. As I've made it pretty clear in today's video, this man is a centre midfielder. That's his primary position. That's where he's played the large majority of the game. But we all know I'm very OCD here, and I like to really dive into these player profiles, and I read maybe far too much regarding these videos for you guys to actually know. But he has actually played in a couple other positions throughout his career, playing in both wings. He's played just behind the striker, and even once on his career he played as a false nine. So he has got a wee bit more to his game. But where I've talked about jack of all trades, blah blah blah, regarding some of the players we've been linked with in the past, it's no the same standard. I mention that because I'm OCD and I like to give you all the information. But if you look at the amount of games he's played, the large again, majority of them have been centre mid, and there's no question in my mind where he'd be playing and where he would dive right in. That midfield three, Raskin, Jose and Cantwell, by goodness, is that legs, physicality, bite, but more importantly, people, quality on the ball. And that's truthfully all I've really got to say regarding Jose right now, people. That's what we know. That's the player himself. Again, all that's been reported right now from Fab, the transfer man himself, is that talks have been going on very well between the clubs, and they're expecting, and the agents are expecting a deal to be done. So for me, I don't think you really need me to sit here and tell you if I believe this rumour to be true. If he's coming out and putting his name on it, it usually means there is something in there. So yeah, this could be an incredible bit of business from Jose. And as I've looked into him and everything, I almost can't believe we're actually, because I've seen how many clubs have been linked with and how many teams have been after him, and see what is actually said about him. This midfield, people, might genuinely be glorious next season. It's just, if we can get some attackers, that'd be great. I know I'm being selfish here, Rangers, but can we get linked with a good striker? That would be absolutely delicious. But what about you, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know your thoughts and opinions, as Jose is increasingly looking like he's going to be a Rangers player at the start of next season. What's your thoughts and opinions? Let me know down in the old comment section below. And as always, until next time, until there is some genuine news and some real news out there, we'll speak about it right here on the old channel. But until then, I've been CJ over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.